Water is one of the most important substances on Earth. All living things depend on it. Despite its simplistic structure of two hydrogens bonded to an oxygen, water is essential for growth, metabolism, and keeping the temperatures of our bodies in check. That's a lot of responsibility for one little molecule.
Water to mankind is considered a free good. Almost 3/4 of the Earth's surface is ocean, which means there's tons of water, right? What most people do not know is that oceans are almost all salt water, and a very small portion is fresh water, or drinkable water. Freshwater makes up only 2.5% of the water on Earth, with only 1% being easily accessible. Most freshwater is trapped in glaciers, large masses of ice and snow found in the Earth's polar regions. But the glaciers are in trouble, and so are we.
In 2017, global warming is no secret. Atmospheric temperatures have risen and will continue to rise due to increased levels of greenhouse gases and a rapidly depleting ozone layer. Due to global warming, glaciers are melting faster than ever.
The Sperry Glacier in Montana has retreated more than 700 hectares since 1901. Glaciers in the Garhwal Himalaya are expected to disappear by 2035.
You may be wondering, why do we care about glaciers melting? Well, glaciers flow into streams which are used for irrigating crop fields. Fewer glaciers means drier land, causing droughts and low crop yield.
In addition, glaciers are sinks for fresh water. Once they melt, there will be no more sources of fresh water. Only salt water will remain, which, considering the amount of water humans consume daily, is undrinkable due to the high sodium levels. With the glaciers gone, we can expect widespread droughts.
Many groups of people will suffer from the results of these droughts. It affects large groups of people and causes huge increases in diseases. This arises from the poor quality of water. These diseases include fungal infection or valley fever.
The shortage of rainfall results in a loss of food sources and drinkable water. As a result, malnutrition and hunger spread throughout populations. If taken far enough, it can cause huge increases in human death rates. There will be continuous threats to the safety of society due to increases in forest fires, and many will be suffering from anxiety with the fear of human death and suffering, causing social interactions to break down and decrease.
Shortages of water may cause conflicts between people who are desperate to live and may increase crime rates. Surrounding areas will overpopulate since people will continue to search for better living conditions, and prices of the fresh water remaining in the area will increase exponentially. This would be especially true if it is being governed by private companies. Therefore, those that have financial issues will be in need of water and food, but may not be able to have access.
Of course, humans are not the only species reliant on water. Droughts will affect plants and animals alike. There will be an increase in the possibility for extinction in all species. The lack of food and drinking water is enough to cause starvation in a short period of time. An increase in vulnerability to disease in all species may occur due to malnourishment. The now dry landscapes coupled with hot temperatures is likely to cause a wildfire and ruin soil quality.
With the glaciers gone, there will be an increased amount of long-wave radiation absorbed. This is because the white surfaces of glaciers spur the albedo effect, the reflection of light waves back into space. While white surfaces reflect, black surfaces absorb.
Without the glaciers, oceans will be solely water. Oceans absorb a lot of radiation as it is, and this causes an increased amount of dissolved carbon dioxide in oceans. More CO2 increases the acidity of ocean water, which is likely to be outside the ecological niche of many aquatic organisms.
According to the Shelford's Law of Tolerance, the organisms are likely to be under stress from the change in their environment. They will become scarce, if present at all. The organisms may try to migrate to a new area, a new environment, but there they may encounter new species with whom they now have to compete with for resources.
Droughts affect all parts of our environment and our community, and this includes our economy as well. With all the impacts of the shortage of water and food, market failures will occur and further affect the distribution of fresh water. There will be a lack of public goods in the economy due to the lack of the ability to produce new products.
Freshwater is a necessity for survival, making it have a perfectly inelastic demand. This means that the quantity of fresh water demanded by consumers will not change regardless of the price. Once the shortage occurs, prices will skyrocket to accommodate for it, but will not limit the number of buyers.
Although this may all be true, the government may reduce market failure by subsidizing firms who desalinate and provide fresh water. By doing this, desalinating may reduce the price of fresh water. But this includes the assumption that the firms use the subsidy effectively to reduce costs rather than increase their income. Subsidizing desalination comes with its own issues. The government is reallocating their money towards these firms who provide fresh water, but this may result in decreased funding in other public goods such as roads and pavement, national defense, or street lights, to name a few.
It is too late to reverse any of our actions, but that does not mean we should stop looking for solutions to our problems. So, how are we going to solve our freshwater problem? As mentioned earlier, Earth has tons of water to offer, but salt water is undrinkable for humans. The desalination of seawater, essentially removing the salt from salt water, is one solution to accommodate the lack of fresh water.
Since salt dissolves quite easily in water, large amounts of energy are required to break the bonds in salt water. Currently, there are two common ways to desalinate water: membrane separation and thermal distillation. Membrane separation, also known as reverse osmosis, uses a semi-permeable membrane similar to the one found surrounding most cells to separate water from the salt. Seawater is sucked in through large tubes and forced through the membrane, which catches the salt but lets the water slip through. A company in Tampa, Florida has already implemented this technology.
The second process is thermal distillation, where the seawater is boiled to separate the solvent and the solute. The evaporated water is caught, then cooled back down into a liquid. The salt is left behind in the evaporation process. This method has been implemented in Sorek, Israel, and Carlsbad, California.
While all these desalination plants report the effectiveness of these methods, there are some concerns. Firstly, organisms living nearby the intake areas of the desalination plants are at risk. Small organisms such as fish and algae could be sucked up into the tubes, which risks upsetting the natural food chain of the ecosystem. Secondly, what are we to do with the leftover salt?
So how can you help? Well, to start, everyone should be aware of their water consumption. Little things like turning off the tap when you're not using it and taking shorter showers can help save precious fresh water.
You can also educate your family and friends on the matter and help encourage clean activities such as walking or taking the bus instead of driving. Reduced CO2 emissions will lower the greenhouse gas effect in the Earth's atmosphere and hopefully slow the rate of glacier melting.
Finally, we need your big ideas and creativity to help find solutions to the water problem. This issue is worldwide. The disappearance of the glaciers will affect everyone, not just those near the poles. Contact your government with ideas of how we can get ahead of global warming.
For more information on how to conserve water, feel free to visit the following websites: www.thewaterproject.org or www.wateruseitwisely.com.